video on candied orange cake, but not like a lemon sponge kind of cake, a like rich dark fruit cake, but made with orange peel, candied orange peel, instead of the rest of the fruit. So I made, well, I wanted to make this because I kind of thought it would be really kind of quite nice to have all the candied fruit going just into the cake rather than like the other fruit as well. So it's a standard cake recipe, so it's 12 ounces of butter, 12 ounces of dark brown sugar, 6 eggs, 12 ounces of self-raising flour, and then it's got half a teaspoon of mace, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a lemon, and then it's 3 pounds of fruit. It was a bit wet, was the fruit, because I put it in jars. So I stored it in jars stupidly instead of just leaving it out. So I stored it in jars in the syrup. So I should have left some of it out, but I didn't. So I've added about 3 ounces of flour to the. I've drained off the majority of the syrup, but it was still a little bit wet. So I've just added 3 ounces of flour to the fruit, just so it dries it out a little bit, and so that flour will cope with the kind of wetness. I'm just turning it over. So I'm going to make 2. I think to buy the fruit, actually it's really expensive. It's about £6 for about for 500 grams, which I thought was really expensive. So I've made my own, so it's a lot cheaper. I don't know if would it be worth making it if you're buying the fruit. I'm not too sure. If I'm honest, I'm not too sure. But since I made it myself, it wasn't that expensive. It was just my time, and it wasn't really that much of a hassle to make it, because I was sat listening to podcasts and doing other jobs at the same time as I was making the candied fruit peel, which is generally what I do anyway. You know, not going to waste my time. Just sat there listening to a podcast. I'm going to do something else at the same time. There we go. Right, so probably looks like it needs a bit more fruit. It'll be fine. If it drops, I'm more interested in what it tastes like than the actual. If the fruit all goes to the bottom of the cake. I'm not really bothered about that. I'm only really bothered about how it's going to taste. So half it goes in there, and then it's going to go in an oven at 140 degrees for about 3.5, 4 hours, something like that. So ideally, I'd like something else in the oven at the same time, but I haven't got anything else to cook in the oven at the same time. If we're drying something out, that'll be okay, but the price of fuel these days is kind of making things a lot more expensive, isn't it? So that one looks more in. I had a cake, and there was some candied orange zest in it, and I just kind of thought it was really nice. And I just wondered if it would be nice all the way through. So that one's more in. So should I carry on talking? I'll stop. No, because I'll just end up making a mess of the camera. It's not going to be a very long video this anyway, because I've done the candied fruit video and turned it into another video. I was going to do it all in one, but I can't see the point. They're about equal. About is fine. I'm not bothered if one's slightly bigger than the other, because they're only for me. I might share if someone comes around to see me, but otherwise it's going to be all for me. Finger, the best spatula in the world. That's that. Right, in the oven, 3.5, 4 hours, something like that, and we'll see what they're like when they come out, and then we'll see what they're like to taste when they're cool. Right, they've had about 3.5 hours, and they certainly look ready. And you can see that they are, the bits of orange are still at the top of the cake, so it looks like they haven't dropped all down to the bottom. The cake's coming away from the So they should be good. We'll wait till it's cooled down, and then we'll cut into one and see what it's like. It's cool. Let's have a look and let's have a taste. So I'll reuse that bit to wrap it up. It'll benefit from a bit of maturing, like most dark fruit cakes. It's still a fruit cake, isn't it? Because it's part of the fruit that we used. It's a bit solid. Never nice, just a little bit sharp, blunt. Sorry. Probably could do with more fruit to it. Probably could do with more fruit. Mind you, it's stronger tasting, so it might actually be the right amount. It's got plenty of fruit to it though, hasn't it? But it's more intense than raisin sulphur towers and those type of things, so let's give it a go. It's really nice. It's really moist. And it's chewy because of all the candied peel in it. That's really nice. I think normally with like dark fruit cakes you put some alcohol in it, like some whiskey or some rum or something like that. And I think I could do it with like a curacao, like a Grand Marnier, and drizzle some of that in and then let it mature for a few months, and that would be absolutely even nicer than it is. That's really nice. It's slightly overcooked now. Well, it's obviously down to the sugar in the fruit caramelising. That's lovely. It's a bit like a treacle cake. So like a treacle sponge. It's got that type of element to it. That's really nice. That's really nice. I think to buy that amount of dried fruit to put in it, or dried candied peel, it'll be expensive. But if making your own, and I'm always curious about things. That's going to be lovely. That's going to be even nicer in 2 or 3 months' time when it's matured in an airtight container. There we go, winner.